Hello and welcome to Retro Reviews. And today I really want to cover a bunch of leaks that have come out for the July Nintendo Direct. Now, typically we get a Direct in June. That's like the month that they typically have their big game showcase for everyone. This used to happen at like E3, but since they got rid of that, Nintendo started doing their own thing forever ago. June used to be their big selling month for a lot of things. But since the Nintendo Switch launched just very recently and they had a big Direct for that not too long before June, it made sense to kind of push it back. But I've been seeing a lot of rumors floating around. The first one that I saw initially was just saying that there's going to be a July Direct after the launch of DK Bonanza, just slated sometime after. And then another one said probably the last week of July. And this one highlighted a few games. So I wanted to talk about some of the games that are rumored to be at this Direct. It comes from a semi-reputable source that's gotten things right before. You know the drill about leaks. It's always someone who got something right in the past or did one thing or another. But I want to go over the games because it was a little bit more exciting here. So first off, they talked about Metaphor ReFantazio making it over to the Switch 2, which I think would be really fantastic. Atlus has always given a lot of support to Nintendo. I think Metaphor makes the most sense. It got a lot of big awards and everything. It's been a good seller for the company. I think that one is a really good choice here. A GameCube title is going to be released for the Nintendo Switch Online service in Pokemon Colosseum to kind of go along with their Pokemon Presents that they're going to be doing in July. So that's kind of cool. I think that's a fantastic slam dunk. Pokemon Colosseum on the GameCube was really, really good. I really enjoyed that one quite a bit. Another one was going to be The Witcher 3 getting a Switch 2 version, Switch 2 upgrade. Seen this with like stuff that's been on the underpowered side on the Nintendo Switch, like Hogwarts Legacy getting a Switch 2 version. Witcher 3 is a prime candidate for upgrading here because we really do need that kind of horsepower here going into the Switch 2. Because I played the original one on the Switch. It's a marvel that it runs at all, and they did a really good job porting it over and paring it down as much as possible. But getting a full version that takes advantage of the hardware of the Switch 2 and kind of runs at something that you'd expect on like a PlayStation 4 Pro or something like that. That's really cool. That's really fantastic to me. Smoothing out those frame rates, getting the textures to stop popping in. That's really big for me. I'm really excited about that potential there. I'm forgetting one. Oh, Death Stranding as well. Death Stranding Director's Cut S coming to the Switch 2. That's kind of exciting for me. I played Death Stranding on the PlayStation 4. It never hooked me enough. But I think having it on the go might do it for me, and Death Stranding 2 is getting huge reviews. Everyone's loving it, so I'd like to finally get into it. I've been trying to get into Hideo Kojima stuff. I think that would be a good way to get into it. Again, on the go is like the best way to play some of these bigger games, some of the maybe more tedious, because I think Death Stranding has that tedium associated with it. That could be really darn cool. Another thing that I think is obvious, and I was going to do this in my predictions anyway, a Metroid Prime 4 release date. 100%, like it's either coming out, and most people are saying in September or November. I tend to lean toward November. I think this will be the big holiday game for Nintendo this year. I think they're going an interesting route, going with DK and Metroid, and I love it. They're two of my favorite franchises that never get enough love. But leading with those means they have some confidence. They probably have Mario in the pipeline next year, but there is some speculation that there could be a 3D Mario game announced and even like ready to go in for the holiday this year, because having Mario, a 3D Mario game on shelves holiday really sells consoles really well. But maybe it could be something like the source was saying something like maybe it's Mario Galaxy 2 remastered for the Switch 2, or maybe it's like a collection, another one like 3D All Stars. Hopefully this time they won't limit it, but if that's the case, we might get something like Super Mario 2, Galaxy 2, and maybe it bundles in some of the other games like some of the 2D games as well. Maybe this isn't just specifically a 3D one. Maybe it's DS games. Maybe it's the new series. They bundle a bunch of those together. But whatever it is, maybe they have something in the pipeline. But I have not seen anything confirmed yet so far. I haven't seen enough reports saying that the 3D Mario game is coming this year. That could be something they pull out of their hat. The last thing that they talked about was Animal Crossing getting a new game coming in 2026, which is pretty darn cool. Kind of expanding on what New Horizons did, giving you drivable vehicles this time around, a bigger place to go around. I think that's cool. I really liked New Horizons, but I don't think it was anywhere near as good as New Leaf in a lot of ways. So I'd like to see them evolve it and make it a little bit better experience, because I fell off New Horizons. I think that's a game you could play forever, but for me, and someone who really likes Animal Crossing and trying to get all the fish, all the bugs and everything, that's like my favorite thing about the games, I just kind of fell off kind of hard, and it just didn't hook me as like the other Animal Crossing games did. So that's exciting for me. I think that would be really fantastic. Two other ones they talked about were Kirby Robobot making its way to Switch 1 and Switch 2, which I think would be really fantastic. More 3DS games coming and DS games as well, making their way onto the Switch, I think would be really fantastic. Another one being a Dragon Quest VII remake that's been rumored and floating around quite a bit lately. I think that would be fantastic. I love seeing all the Dragon Quest games getting a lot of love lately. I really like the series, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that going forward if the remake is something really big. But that's kind of exciting for me. Other things that were not in the rumors that I want to do my own predictions for, I think we'll absolutely see some Xbox games make their way over to the Switch too. I think the only reason we haven't seen them announced yet is because Nintendo wants to show it off at their presentation specifically. So I do think Gears of War Remastered will absolutely come to Switch too. I see that as a no-brainer. The fact that they announced it for PlayStation and then not Nintendo just leads me to believe that Nintendo wants to announce it themselves, because Xbox has such a great relationship with Nintendo. I wouldn't be very surprised to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Oh, is it Dial of, no, is that the movie? Whatever the Great Circle, whatever the new game was. I think it was the Great Circle. I wouldn't be surprised to see that one coming. Wouldn't be surprised to see Grounded or even Grounded 2 coming that way. I'd love to see a lot of those games make their way over. Hi-Fi Rush. We already have Pentiment. What was the other one? Sea of Thieves. I think a lot of those would be great candidates for coming over to the Switch too, and I think the Xbox would love to get them on as many platforms as possible. Hi-Fi Rush would be a slam dunk. I think that's, again, one of those that's perfect on the go. It's like made for the Nintendo Switch. I think a lot of Xbox games will likely make their way over. Whether it's at this direct or not, I think we'll at least get one announcement, and I'm guessing it's Gears of War. But imagine if they debuted that Halo was going multi-platform at Nintendo's own direct. That would be absolutely huge. I think outside of that, I want to be as realistic as possible. I think the only other thing I could realistically see is Prime 2 and 3 finally getting shadow dropped on the Switch and Switch 2. I would love to see it. I think it's weird that they haven't done that yet. If it's coming out in November, sure, that gives us plenty of time to play 2 and 3. I think we kind of need to, Prime 4, I know these are kind of isolated incidents. You can always play the Metroid games in no particular order. You don't have to have the lore, but playing Dread and not playing Fusion kind of you don't get the full storyline. And the same thing goes for the Prime games. They do give you some kind of semblance of a through line story. It's important to have those. So I would love to see 2 and 3, because it's been a long time since I've played 2. And even longer since I've played 3. I really like what 2 is. I've played it several times. I think I've only beaten Metroid Prime 3 one time. And I enjoyed it. I really liked it, but it's locked to the Wii and technically the Wii U as well. So I'd love to see those finally make their way over. And with the success of Metroid Prime 1, man, just get them out there in the wild. You can charge $40 for them pretty easy and people will buy them. Probably myself included. I'd love to see a physical edition of the trilogy. That would be absolutely huge for me. But regardless, I want to see 2 and 3 finally get remastered. I think those are the biggest, major ones we could see coming forward. I can't see too much else. Maybe we get to see something I don't know. I think those are my biggest predictions here. I'm not going to go hog wild. I don't think we're going to see too much more. I think they've got some stuff in the pipeline ready for 2026. But I think they're going to lead with a lot of things coming out this year, because right now it's a little light. The Switch 2, I talked about this in one of my videos recently. It's a little light on the content. So I think a bunch of these bigger third-party games, especially if Metaphor Fantasio gets a full third-party release on the cartridge and not the game key and everything, I think that would go a long way for a lot of people, myself included, to actually pick up these third-party games that maybe you don't see on the other ones. The only ballpark one I'm going to throw out right now is Black Myth Wukong getting an announcement. This is not something I've seen anywhere else, but I would love to see Black Myth make its way to Nintendo Switch. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Is there going to be a direct this month? What do you think is going to be there? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.